Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is August the 30th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Actually, I took the day off. I went ahead and called it in. Well, not called it in. I requested this off like at the top of the week because I had some plans. And then, of course, lo and behold, that I have Labor Day off as well. So, good old 4-day weekend. It is nice. I like it. So, actually, kind of starting it off into what I've been up to. Not that I've been up to too much. It's only the afternoon, but also into the food corner. So for today, what did I have for breakfast? I went to Einstein Bagel and Bros. I think it's what the name of the restaurant establishment is. But it was really yummy. I had actually, this is one of those things where I've been meaning to go to this place because it's been there for a long time, and I've done DoorDash orders out of there, and I'm like, oh yeah, it always looks like a little nice little joint. And I love bagels, so I was like, yeah, we gotta go. I looked at the menu, like I want to say last week, and I was just like salivating over all the bagels. So what did I order? I got 3 bagels. I got a pumpernickel bagel with veggie cream cheese, which was really good. I remember being a kid and not liking pumpernickel as like a flavor. Like it just wasn't my kind of bread type. So, it was nice that my palate has evolved and like I can appreciate a pumpernickel bagel. Also, on the cream cheese, it was nice and savory, which I think that's definitely what I want out of my veggie cream cheese. I don't get that kind of cream cheese often, so that was just nice in general. Then there was a pretzel bagel with just plain cream cheese. Also, all these are toasted, of course. I'm always toasting my bagels if and everywhere possible. And you should too. That's my opinion. But this pretzel bagel was delicious. It was so salty. It had like the nice bread consistency that you're looking for when it comes to a pretzel bagel. So that hit the spot. That was good. And then last but not least, I got a French cinnamon toast bagel. This one was very interesting. I initially wanted this like apple crunch, cinnamon crunch thing, very similar. But I was like, okay, no, this will do. This is fine. And I got this honey almond butter cream cheese. Hey, so good. It was so yummy. I was moaning in my car. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I got all that and a coffee. It was really good. So if you have an Einstein Bagel Bros in your town, I would hit it up. Let's see. But let's talk about what did I eat last night. Not as impressive as today, but I did have a burger and hot dogs and fries. So, kind of back to an old classic staple for your boy. But yeah, so like I said, so far so good. I'm in a good state of mind. I'm in a good mood. Starting off my weekend, my holiday weekend. So yeah, let me go ahead and let's do the startup and we'll get into some news. Also, definitely gonna go back because they have like what is it like the lox bagels and stuff, and I was like, ooh, I definitely need to try that shit. I definitely need to get into that for sure. Anyway. Oh boy. Okay. From the Associated Press. Ukraine says one of its Western donated F 16 warplanes has crashed. One of the handful of F 16 warplanes that Ukraine has received from its Western partners to help fight Russia's invasion has crashed. Ukraine's Army General Staff said Thursday. The pilot died. The fighter jet went down on Monday when Russia launched a major missile and drone barrage at Ukraine, a military statement posted on Facebook said. 4 of those Russian missiles were shot down by F 16, the statement said. The crash was the first reported loss of an F 16 in Ukraine, where they had arrived at the end of last month. At least 6 of the warplanes are believed to have been delivered. The Defense Ministry has opened up an investigation into the crash. Let's see here. The Ukrainian Air Force, in a Facebook post, identified the pilot as Colonel Alexei Moonfish Mez, who saved Ukrainians from Russian or deadly Russian missiles, unfortunately at the cost of your own life. Moonfish and a fellow Ukrainian pilot, Andriy Jus Pelichikov, we're gonna say Pelichikov. We're gonna say that. Made an early public visit to the U.S. in June of 2022 to press lawmakers and media to send Ukraine F-16 fighter jets, and they both continued to serve as public faces for Ukraine's battle to secure its airspace. Juice was killed in an August 23 accident. And this was a quote that I kind of think was fucked up, but from one of our congressmen in the U.S. When I met with Ukraine pilots Juice and Moonfish, I had a sick feeling they wouldn't make it through the war. Former U.S. Congressman Adam Kinzinger posted on X, formerly known as Twitter. They fought like hell for Ukraine and the F-16. I really just feel like you could have said the last part, you know? Maybe Adam just do that and not say, man, I had a bad feeling that they were going to die. And sure enough, they were dead. Like, I'm Nostradamus. Like, no, dude, don't do that. But obviously, condolences to the family. You know, this is very unfortunate. I don't know. It definitely seems like the media is, like, towing this line of being like, yeah, like, obviously, oh, this is really sad, you know, this pilot. But then also being like, yeah, that's an investment that we just lost and we just gave them. Like, oh, my God. And it's like, this feels weird, right? Because, like, in the scheme of things, like, you know, analysts have said, like, yes, this is, you know, a good thing that Ukraine is getting these F-16s, but, like, how relevant this is going to be kind of remains to be seen. I feel like that's kind of the nicest interpretation of it. So, you know, obviously I get that this is important, and in terms of just, like, noting, like, hey, that someone, you know, lost their life, you know, this F-16 thing is something that's helpful, but, you know, there's also, like, this so soon, but I don't know. The story kind of felt weird to cover, just in terms of, like, how it's been highlighted, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me overthinking it or something. Who knows? But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. From NPR, 9 people have died in connection to the listeria outbreak among Boar's Head products. So yeah, a bit of an update on the Schmeat. 9 people have now died in connection to the listeria outbreak among Boar's Head deli meat products, the CDC said. Has said, I should say. I'm sorry. There have been 57 cases total, and all of those infected have been hospitalized. I don't know why I paused like that. Infections have happened have happened across 18 states, including Arizona, New Mexico, Minnesota, Missouri, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, and Massachusetts. That's a lot of states, man. That's not good. Like, this little thing is feeling like it's becoming a bigger thing, and that's no good. Recent illnesses may not yet be reported, as it usually takes about 3 to 4 weeks to determine if a sick person is a part of an outbreak, the CDC said. The true number of sick people in this outbreak is also likely higher than the number reported. Another thing I kind of wanted just to jump to, because it's not covered in this article, but I do feel like it's definitely a relevant thing to note, from CBS News: bugs, mold, and mildew found in Boar's Head plant linked to deadly listeria outbreak. So, like, just the idea that you're having, like, all these things in your main plant, also, like, literally, like, standing water in your plants, at least, like, your main one. So that's just no fucking good, dude. Like, that's definitely, like, alarming. Last month, Boar's Head recalled all of the deli meats made at its plant in Jarrett, Virginia, after a listeria outbreak was blamed on products distributed from the facility. Let's see. Is there really anything else I wanted to pull from here? No, I think I'll go ahead and call it covered. Like, there's obviously more details in between these two articles if you want to look them up. But just, yeah, that's obviously not good conditions for your quote-unquote high-quality meat, you know what I'm saying? So that's very unfortunate that this all is getting packaged up in these kind of conditions and being sent out to people to consume, you know, for their, like, charcuterie board or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? So hopefully in the future, this doesn't happen, and hopefully this outbreak is, getting clamped down on. But I'll keep you posted on whatever I find out. All right, a couple more stories to go here from the Associated Press. Harris defends shifting from some liberal positions in first interview of presidential campaign. So, the interview, it finally happened. Vice President Kamala Harris on Thursday defended shifting away from some of her more liberal positions in her first major television interview of her presidential campaign, but insisted her values have not changed, even as she is seeking consensus. Sitting with her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Harris was asked specifically about her reversals on banning fracking and decriminalizing illegal border crossings, positions she took during her last run for president. She confirmed she does not want to ban fracking, an energy extraction process key to the economy of swing state Pennsylvania, and said there should be consequence for people who cross the border without permission. I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy and perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. Which she really just wanted to hammer home this narrative, even though obviously what, the reporter is trying to do and elicit is the thing that people are saying. It's like, but even though you keep saying that, like, clearly we're saying, like, you've kind of shifted down on the scale. And on these kind of things, yes, I kind of wish you would just say, yeah, I have become more moderate. Just fucking say it. You know what I mean? You can just be honest about it. I don't think that's going to really bend people out of shape. But I think she wants to dodge the soundbite. And I think that's a lot of what this is all about here. Let's see here. I wanted to maybe pull some more stuff. She went on to say, I believe it is important to build consensus. It is important to find a common place of understanding where we can actually solve the problem. The interview with CNN's Dana Bash came as voters are still trying to learn more about the Democratic ticket in an unusually compressed time frame. President Joe Biden ended his election, which is also kind of something that Bash was trying to kind of like elicit, kind of talk about, where it's just like, hey, like, how do you feel like you're different, or, how are you varying from Joe Biden? Or I'm sure I'm kind of not paraphrasing this correctly, but essentially she kind of just pivoted to say, well, things that I'm really stoked that we've done in this administration is like this, and this, and I'm really proud about that. And more or less answering the question the way we all know. And it's like, okay, cool, but you didn't exactly answer it. And once again, it's like that political kind of tap dancing that people don't really like to see. It kind of is a little unnerving and annoying, but you get it. You understand it. I don't think that it's something that comes across as like, oh, that's so ugly and annoying. I know that also, too, that people like conservative pundits, talking heads, whatever, they were up in arms about the fact that Harris and Walz did the interview together. They didn't like that. They're like, there was like some women, or at least one woman, who had came out and said, yeah, this is anti-women or some shit, that Harris is like trying to do this fucking thing with a man. Like, she needs a man there. And I don't think that really carries over to the populace at large. I think generally it does make sense, also because Bash asked Walz specific questions to answer about like misstatements or things that, like, in his career in terms of his service or what have you, or his family. So those are things that were relevant. So you kind of get two birds with one stone. It wasn't necessarily like a 2-on-1 situation or anything like that. Let's see here. Where do I want to scroll to? She said she didn't ask Biden to endorse her. Oh yeah, that's in terms of like, let me scroll up a little bit, my bad. She said serving with Biden was one of her greatest honors of my career, and she recounted the moment he called to tell her he was stepping down and would support her. He told me what he had decided to do, and I asked him, are you sure? And he said, yes, and that's how I learned about it. She said she didn't ask Biden to endorse her because he was very clear that he was going to endorse me. Harris defended the administration's record on the southern border and immigration, noting that she was tasked with trying to address root causes in other countries, hence like going to like Venezuela or whatever and saying, do not come, that kind of shit. We have laws that have to be followed and enforced that address and deal with people who cross our borders illegally, and there should be consequences, Harris said. So there's that. Let's see. And then also the whole thing about Trump bringing up her race got brought up, she more or less kind of just plays it down. She just goes, next question, please. Which I kind of get it. She's not trying to make hay about it. This kind of goes into the other thing I was saying the other day, where I said, like, look, when we were talking about Trump and the Arlington thing, it's nice to see the Democratic Party as like a whole kind of start buzzing and doing the mudslinging for her, because that's what they're fucking supposed to do, right? So they're kind of handling those conversations and having those little sound bites made up. They're doing the little X tweets, posts, whatever the fuck. So that way, Harris really doesn't have to address this on a major level and kind of quote unquote stoop to that level. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. I think that was smart. In terms of, I kind of skipped past the Walz part, but essentially when he was asked about his like misstatements, he just more or less was like, I think honest in the way like Midwesterners are, and we kind of like to be kind of quote unquote, is just like, yeah, they were, maybe misphrasings, but I think the audience, especially at the time, understood what I was trying to say. I wasn't trying to speak out of turn here about my service or about my family in terms of like whether it was like IVF or a different type of conception method. He's just saying like, hey, I'm kind of just tapping on the generalities here. My bad. The old oop. So, I mean, I think some conservatives, some people are going to try to be like, oh, you're just flat out lying. It's like, bro, flat out lying is the shit you see Trump and Vance doing on like a daily fucking basis. But okay, whatever, that's fine. I mean, if that really flusters your boat, then it's just going to do that, I guess. In a lot of these situations, I've said this before, you're just going to see people nitpicking and finding their reason to not want to vote for Harris. Essentially not want to vote for the Democratic ticket. And it's like, that's fine, dog. Like, that's okay. We all know you were looking for your beef, and you're going to get it eventually. Whether it's here in this interview, whether it's in the fucking debate somewhere along the line. Like, someone's going to try to find their thing if they don't want to vote for her. Just like the motherfuckers who are already down to vote for Harris, they're already pretty much in. You don't really actually even have to have this interview or another one, but hey, let's let it all play out. Gives me some shit to talk about. Why not? So yeah, let's go ahead and move on. Let's mosey. Got one more thing I wanted to cover. All right. From the Associated Press, just going to say that. And we're going to take our last break. Hopefully that sounds good to you. Sounds good to me. All right. Salmon will soon swim freely in the Klamath River for the first time in a century once dams are removed. For the first time in more than a century, salmon will soon have free passage along the Klamath River and its tributaries, a major watershed near the California-Oregon border, as the largest dam removal project in U.S. history nears completion. Crews will use excavators this week to breach rock dams that have been diverting water upstream of up to 2 dams that were already almost completely removed. Iron Gate and Copco number 1. The work will allow the river to flow freely in its historic channel, giving salmon passageway to key swaths of habitat just in time for the fall Chinook, or king salmon spawning season. So that's good. We like to hear that. We like to see that. Oh, sorry. I'm sweating over my eyes. Excuse me. Seeing the river being restored to its original channel and that dam gone, it's a good omen for our future, said Leif Hillman, ceremonial leader of the Karuk tribe, which has spent at least 25 years fighting for the removal of the Klamath dams. Salmon are culturally and spiritually significant to the tribe, along with others in the region. So this is definitely like really good news. It's a shame that it's taken so long, and I definitely kind of like looking into it. It seems like California's almost lost oh well, this isn't gonna affect the whole energy or any kind of like situation because these dams are kind of already spent on that, so we can just kind of let them go. So it's almost like, yeah, we've kind of exploited this to its maximum zenith conclusion. Yeah, we can give it back to the people that, you know, have been dramatically affected in very negative ways. Yeah, we can finally do the right thing now. And like now you see like Gavin Newsom out in his jeans and stuff like, yeah, I'm so happy to approve this project and get this done. Like, this is very historic, and it is good. It is an historic thing. Like it's good. And it's like, it sucks that we have to invest so much money. It's taxpayer money and stuff like that. But it's definitely to a good, correct cause. And it's good for the environment. We're giving back to the environment. We're enriching the environment. And I think that's a good fucking thing. So, you know, we love to see it. And obviously, in this article, too, this is random, kind of a bit of an aside as I close it out. We talk about little fish ladders or something like that. Apparently, it's a way for the fish to kind of get, you know, continue their journey with, like, even with the dams. Like, I guess they've established these little, like, pond-like things. I probably should have looked this up before I started yapping about it. But I guess, essentially, the fish just kind of hop and hop and hop. And that just sounds really cute. I should look that up and see if it is as cute as I think it is. But, so yeah, shout out to the salmon. Shout out to the people. You know, we love to see tribes getting their land back, at least parts of their land, or at least the restoration of their land. You know, things like that are good. You know, they are dubs that we can celebrate. At least I think so. Let's see. What else do I want to read from here? Why not? We can just keep talking. Why not? Sure. As of February, more than 2,000 dams had been removed in the U.S., the majority in the last 25 years, according to the advocacy group American Rivers. Among them were dams on Washington State's Elwha River, which flows out of Olympic National Park into the Strait of the Juan de Fuca, and Condit Dam on the White Salmon River, a tributary of the Columbia. All right. I'm going to close it out there, once again, before my brain melts. I feel like I said what needed to be said there. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/AsaiahNews. Excuse me, become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. And then let's see here. Feel free to follow me on any of the socials. You can get me up there. Hopefully subscribe to the YouTube, really helps out a lot. Leave a like, leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. And thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.